Shalom, everyone. This is going to be a discussion on the importance of our Creator's name. Now, I'm not going to try to prove that the correct pronunciation of our Creator's name is Yahuwah, or that the correct pronunciation for Messiah's name is Yahushua, but I will leave links to two excellent teachings on this matter in the description box below. Now, Jewish Talmudic tradition states that our Creator's name should not be spoken, and many people believe this. However, this is not what the Word says, and we're going to examine a little bit of that. Now, English Bibles have replaced our Creator's name with, well, some believe that they are titles of Lord and God. So everywhere where His name should appear, which is, I believe, close to 7,000 times, we have the replacement of His name with Lord or God. Now, why would that be? Okay, let's take a look at this. Now, let's see. Also, Messiah's name has been replaced with the anglicized version of His name, which most people refer to Him as Jesus. However, it should appear as Yahushua. Now, the more proper translation or transliteration into English should be Joshua. However, it should not be translated or transliterated at all. His name is His name, just like your name is your name. Your name doesn't change to whatever version it is, to whatever country you might go to. Likewise, of course, with our Creator's name and Messiah's name, the same thing should apply. Now, as far as Lord and God goes, there is an additional link that I'll want to leave, and the title of this teaching is called Who is God? And this is by messenger of the name, just like the two teachings on Messiah's name and the Creator's name as well. It's also by messenger of the name. Now, there are a variety of different pronunciations that are used for the Father's name. But I just simply want to ask, how many different pronunciations would be acceptable or should be acceptable? How many different pronunciations of your name are acceptable? Okay, so we have, there are 4 primary ones that I can think of, and that would be Jehovah, Yehovah, Yahweh, and Yahuwah. However, why would all of these names be correct? Because many claim, or some claim rather, that when it discusses His name in the Word, that what this really means, or this denotes character, or the essence of His character. But let's examine that matter to see how much sense that really makes. Okay, let's start with in the 10 Commandments. Exodus chapter 20, verse 7. You do not bring the name of Yahuwah your Elohim to naught, for Yahuwah does not leave one unpunished who brings His name to naught. So, everywhere where I am reading Yahuwah, when I'm sharing a verse, in the English Bibles you would see Lord or God once again. However, if you read it in the Hebrew, there would be what is known as the Tetragrammaton. Okay, so the Hebrew letters are Yod, He, Wah, He. Now, there is a correct pronunciation to that name, okay? So, the Hebrew word shav, which is Strong's Concordance 7723, it is shav where we see the English word vain, okay, because most English versions of the Bible, it will say you do not take His name in vain. So where we see vain, or in the Scriptures version, it says who brings His name to naught. Now, shav The definition is in the sense of desolating, emptiness, vanity, falsehood, worthless. Okay? Now keep in mind, this is one of the 10 Commandments. Okay? So I think it is appropriate to share Revelation 22:14. Blessed are those doing his commandments, so that the authority shall be theirs unto the tree of life, and to enter through the gates into the city. Okay? Now, let's examine a little bit of this fourth beast system. This is in 2nd Baruch. Now, Baruch was a scribe of the prophet Jeremiah, introduced in the book of Jeremiah in chapter 36. Now, the book of 2nd Baruch can be found in the Sefer, sefer.net, CEPHER.net, and the Sefer contains all the 66 books of standard canon, as well as 22 extra biblical books. And this is a fantastic prophecy to be found in 2nd Baruch, and it describes what I believe is the system that we are living under today. Let's take a look at that, because this ties into what I just read regarding blessed are those doing his commandments. Okay. And after these things, a fourth kingdom will arise, whose power will be harsh and evil, far beyond those which were before it. And it will rule many times as the forests on the plain, and it will hold fast for times, and will exalt itself more than the cedars of Lebanon. And by it the truth will be hidden, and all those who are polluted with iniquity will flee to it, as evil beasts flee and creep into the forest. Now, what's important to note here, and by it the truth will be hidden. Now, by the way, this is 2nd Baruch chapter 39, verses 5 and 6. By it the truth will be hidden. Okay, the truth of what? Well, the truth of everything, but also the truth of how to properly keep his commandments. So therefore, on this matter of his name, our Creator's name, and the importance of it, what has been done is it has simply been hidden. It has been covered up with Lord and God. So everybody who refers to our Creator, virtually everybody, the vast majority of people who claim to be of the faith, refer to him as God. But again, it is important to know who God really is. So please watch Who is God by Messenger of the Name. Okay. Now, the name, many in the Hebrew roots community use the name Yahweh. And I don't know how many people actually believe that this is the correct pronunciation of his name, but an easy estimate would be 85 to 90% of people who refer to the Father by a name other than Lord or God use the name Yahweh. But again, 2nd Baruch, by it the truth is hidden. And what's important here to understand, it is very important to understand the enemy. And the enemy is this beast system, okay? And this beast is given its authority by the dragon, which is the devil, and Satan. So what's he going to try to do? Well, he's going to try to cover up the truth of his name for certain, because as we examine further verses, it is very important to call on his name, and it says to do so. Okay? So the promotion of the name Yahweh by Wikipedia and by a great multitude of so-called scholars should be a clue, if one understands how this fourth beast system operates, that probably is not it. Because there is, you'll go onto Wikipedia and every name, Yahweh, Yehovah, Jehovah, all of this is discussed in great detail, as if to give the impression that there is a genuine discussion here about, what is the Tetragrammaton and how is it pronounced? And most scholars agree that it is pronounced Yahweh. Okay, but I propose to you that this is a very, very clever and sophisticated method used by this fourth beast system to cover up his name. Now, most people who may be promoting the name Yahweh do not even realize this. However, it is very important to understand this fourth beast system, because once you see how the media is used and how this online encyclopedia, Wikipedia, how it skews information and propagandizes on so many other subjects, then one should get a clue. Wikipedia is not legitimate. So the fact that it promotes the name Yahweh should be highly suspect to anybody who is truly searching for his true name. Okay, let's examine some verses in regards to is it okay to use different pronunciations or so forth, or is Lord and God acceptable? So the first verse I want to bring out is Isaiah chapter 42 and verse 8. Now again, I want to reiterate that wherever I say the name Yahuwah, okay, in the version that I use the scriptures, you will see the tetragrammaton. You will see the four Hebrew letters in modern Hebrew of Yod He Wah He. Now again, there's a correct pronunciation to that. So, Isaiah 42:8 reads, I am Yahuwah, that is my name, and my esteem I do not give to another, nor my praise to idols. Okay, so if it reads, I am, and then you see the tetragrammaton, and then that is my name, there is a very specific name there, and it would behoove people to search out this name as we cover more verses. Psalm 105:1. Give thanks to Yahuwah, call on his name, make known his deeds among the peoples. Okay, one verse right there obliterates the notion, obliterates this Jewish Talmudic tradition that his name should not be spoken or should not be uttered, because the word itself contradicts that in a very decisive and definitive manner with one verse, Psalm 105:1. Again, give thanks to Yahuwah, call on his name, make known his deeds among the peoples. There's a very common, a fairly common verse, I would say, for the Old Testament or the Tanakh. This is a prophecy for the end times. Okay, this is Joel 2:32. And it shall be that everyone who calls on the name of Yahuwah shall be delivered. For on Mount Sion and in Jerusalem, there shall be an escape, as Yahuwah has said, and among the survivors whom Yahuwah calls. Now this is also reiterated in Romans 10:13, and I believe it is Acts 2:28. Okay, Psalm 91:11 through 14. Now this is a prayer of protection. There are many prayers of protection in the book of Psalms. The book of Psalms is fantastic. Okay, Psalm 91:11 through 14. For he commands his messengers concerning you, to guard you in all your ways. They bear you up in their hands, lest you dash your foot against a stone. You tread upon lion and cobra, young lion and serpent you trample underfoot. Because he cleaves to me in love, therefore I deliver him. I set him on high, because he has known my name. Wow. So it's very clear right there. Know his name. Call on his name properly. And give it reverence. Give it the reverence it deserves. Meditate on his commandments. One of those commandments is you do not bring his name to naught, to nothing. Okay, Proverbs 18:10. The name of Yahuwah is a strong tower. The righteous run into it and are safe. Now, I don't know about you, but these are perilous, dangerous, evil, wicked times that we live in. And I want to be in that strong tower, the name of Yahuwah. Isaiah 52, verse 6. Therefore, my people shall know my name in that day, for I am the one who is speaking. See, it is I. He says his people will know his name. Hallelujah. Okay, Revelation chapter 7 is the sealing of the 144,000. And in chapter 7, verse 3, it reads that there is a seal set upon the foreheads of the servants of Elohim, and then goes on to list the 12 tribes, 12,000 from each tribe, totaling 144,000. Okay, what is that seal that is being referred to here? Revelation chapter 14 and verse 1. And I looked and saw a lamb standing on Mount Sion, and with him 144,000, having his father's name written upon their foreheads. Wow. I mean, that is extremely powerful as to the importance of his name. Okay, the mark of the beast on the right hand, enter upon the right hand, enter upon the forehead. But the seal of Yahuwah is his name in the forehead. That is one mark, one seal of Yahuwah. The other, in Deuteronomy and Exodus, is the keeping of his commandments. Okay, now let's bring out some verses from the book of 4 Ezra, or 2nd Esdras. This is also in the Sefer. Now this is some amazing prophecy as well. And there's an interesting correlation between the passages here in 4 Ezra chapter 2 and Revelation chapter 7. I'll go over that in just a second. I, Ezra, saw upon Mount Sion, there's Mount Sion again, a great people, whom I could not number, and they all praised Yahuwah with songs. And in the midst of them there was a young man of high stature, taller than all the rest. And upon every one of their heads he set crowns, and was more exalted, which I marveled at greatly. So I asked the messenger and said, Sir, what are these? He answered and said unto me, These be they that have put off the mortal clothing, and put on the immortal, and have confessed the name of Elohim. Now they are crowned, and receive palms. Then said I unto the messenger, What young person is it that crowns them, and gives them palms in their hands? So he answered and said unto me, It is the Son of Elohim, whom they have confessed in the world. Then began I greatly to commend them that stood so stiffly for the name of Yahuwah. Now that is what I want to get to. It is pointed out by the prophet Ezra right here, or it is pointed out by the Most High Yahuwah himself through the prophet Ezra, that these who are being crowned stood stiffly for the name of Yahuwah. Now what is interesting, there's an interesting correlation, like I was saying, between these passages and Revelation chapter 7, particularly verse 9. Because if you look at Revelation 7:9, there's a great multitude that suddenly shows up after the sealing of the 144,000. There's a great multitude that shows up before the throne and before the Lamb. And they have palm branches in their hands. So it's like, well, how did they get palm branches? Well, it tells us here. Yahushua himself gave them palm branches when he was crowning them. Also, I, Ezra, saw upon Mount Sion. Okay, Mount Sion. That was mentioned in Joel 2:32, Revelation 14:1. Also, there's this conversation going on between a messenger and the prophet Ezra, just like in chapter 7 of Revelation, there's a conversation going on between one of the messengers and the revelator John. Okay, also, they have put off mortal clothing and put on immortal. This is mentioned as well in Revelation chapter 7. Now, let's talk about, briefly for a moment, let's talk about the parable of the 10 virgins. Now, on this matter, what I'm going to bring out, there is a much more in-depth teaching, also by Messenger of the Name. It is entitled The Wise and the Foolish Virgins. So there will be 4 links by messenger of the name in the description box below. The wise and foolish virgins, who is God, restoring the Creator's name, and what is his son's name? Okay, Matthew chapter 25, verses 1 through 4. Then the reign of the heavens shall be compared to 10 maidens who took their lamps and went out to meet the bridegroom. And 5 of them were wise, and 5 foolish. Those who were foolish, having taken their lamps, took no oil with them, but the wise took oil in their containers with their lamps. Okay. Now, not only messenger of the name, but codesearcher.com, Jonathan Matthew Wright has discussed this as well. Now, I cannot tell you for 100% certainty that this is correct. However, it is something very, very interesting and important to take note of and to consider, that the oil is the name of Yahuwah. Okay, Song of Solomon, chapter 1, verse 3. The NASB reads, "Your oils have a pleasing fragrance. Your name is like purified oil. Therefore, the maidens love you." Wow, that is an interesting correlation, is it not? Okay, so the Hebrew word from which we get oil or ointment is shemen, S-H-E-M-E-N. Okay, so the name, when we see in English the word name, the Hebrew word is Shem, S-H-E-M. And then here, when we see oil or ointment, in this case, what is read in Song of Solomon chapter 1 verse 3, your name is like purified oil. Okay, the English word oil, the Hebrew word is shemen, and that is oil or ointment. I think that is very interesting. Strong's Concordance 8081 for the Hebrew word shemen. I suggest you watch these videos and even go to codesearcher.com and just check out his testimony regarding this, the parable of the wise and foolish virgins as well. Thanks for listening.